Welcome back to another issue. I'm Beastie Boy.
I'm Table.
I'm Red.
And it is I, Shino Brando.
And in this issue, Red takes us on a bombastic tour of Marvel's Cosmology.
In the beginning, there was the one above all and the one below all, the supreme rulers of Marvel's multiverse. Being a stand-in for the writers and the editors, these entities are the ultimate manifestations of creation and destruction. Above has revealed themselves to the likes of Peter Parker, as Jack Kirby himself, to guide him to continue being Spidey, while Below didn't make his appearance until 2018 during Immortal Hulk, where they desired to be the last entity in creation and was defeated by Hulk Smash TM.
That would do it. I'm also just picturing Jack Kirby going, Peter, look, you can't stop being Spider-Man because I need to sell books. Okay?
When things become meta.
Exactly. From them came multiversal eternity, a living embodiment of every verse that ever is or ever was. Inside of them, each incarnation of the multiverse has their own eternity. To date, there have been 8 bars. The first 5 were business as usual, Big Bang, a finite amount of time, and then Big Crunch. Repeat. On the 6th go-round, the people of Ta existed. Galen of Ta, with a knowledge of Big Crunch time, proposed that they fly their advanced ship into the heart of the Big Crunch. The heat and radiation killed everyone on board except Galen.
His plan worked.
Kinda.
It worked for him, and that's what matters.
He merged with his universe's eternity and floated into the 7th incarnation with a new name, Galactus, Devourer of Worlds.
Maybe worked was overselling it.
Just gently. Elsewhere, spawning from creation, came a being so feared it is said to be the guardian of creation. The Phoenix Force protects the M'Kron crystal, whose homeworld was the first to create life.
M'Kran crystal.
Marvel says both are right. During this early time, the Celestials were brought into the 7th incarnation by a being called First Cosmos. First Cosmos is a bitch who's hyper lonely because the first incarnation of the multiverse didn't have anything in it, and so existed for a little while and then stopped.
There was just the possibility of existence for a while.
Exactly. And so, being extremely salty, they exist as sort of a force ghost in every other universe.
Aww. You didn't get to exist in a world where there were people, so you get to be a ghost in worlds where there are people. Have fun.
The Celestial cast include... Now, there's countless numbers of Celestials. They're an entire race to themselves. However, there's a couple highlights that are important. Nezar, the Calculator. Essen, the Searcher. Hargen, the Measurer. And last but not least, Eric Cartman's favorite, or his least favorite, depending on the day, Oneg the Prober.
Damn.
When they visited Earth 1,000,000 years ago, they took proto-humans and created 2 diverging species, Eternals and Deviants. Eternals lived longer and had powers relating to creation and destruction. There's a small list of a cast, but the important ones that people should know are the ones that are appearing in the movie. So let's just sprinkle for a hot second, go over them. You've got Thena, the fiercest warrior, Icarus, the all-powerful, Druig, the loner. That's Marvel's words, not mine.
This guy is the antisocial one.
This dude sits in the corner, plays with the dog.
Oh, he's that kind of loner. I was going more for like, hey, can I borrow like $20 kind of loner? But all right, cool.
Oh my god.
No. This dude would rather just be a monk and be somewhere else. Cersei, played by Gemma-chan, the human-loving and charitable. Kingo, the cosmic-powered. They're all cosmic-powered. I don't know why Marvel decided to use that as his adjective, but okay.
Weird move.
Ajak, the spiritual leader. Ajak is the one that most oftenly communicates with the Celestials themselves. Makari, Marvel's speedster that they actually want to use and not shoot in the chest.
Age of Ultron.
Well, Red, didn't see that one coming.
Neither did he.
Damn.
Fastos, the inventor. Sprite, the eternally young and spiteful. And lastly, Gilgamesh, the most powerful.
Hold on, wait. Ain't that a bad guy from the Smurfs?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, Gilgamesh is the oldest literary character we have. Like, the oldest written story is fucking the Epic of Gilgamesh. He's fine.
I thought the first one was Gargamel.
Ah, okay. Whew, all right. I was about to go, what the fuck?
Listen, these characters were created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. The amount of drugs you do in the 70s to create characters like this,
My God.
that
Just
1 plus
saying,
1
it
doesn't
really-
equal 2. Deviants opposing the Eternals are grotesque and monstrous beasts hell-bent on destruction. So, like, not like you and I were born different. Like, it will be vastly different to its parents when the Deviants decide to get biblical.
You're telling me the deviants fuck?
The Deviants fuck, unfortunately.
I don't think that detail was necessary. Writers.
Blame Jack Kirby.
Oh, I will.
Our good buddy, Oneg the Prober, did one last thing before going into obscurity again. He laid into humans the latent gene that we would later call the X gene.
This is it, boys. This is how we get in.
Somebody probed us, and yep. And now we have powers. Thanks, Oneg. Back to the Eternals for a hot second. They were given 3 ideas. Funny enough, when they came out, Asimov's 3 laws of robotics were also out. Funny how life goes. Protect the Celestials. Protect the Machine. The Machine is a unit that lets Eternals escape death by essentially restarting from the last save point. And number 3 is correct excess deviation. Any 3 Eternals that I mentioned earlier can start to combine their powers and their mentalities into what's called the Unimind.
I remember this.
This is an entity of pure light and energy that multiplies the starter's powers. So pick any 3. Usually, in previous continuities, Icarus had to be the one that started it, but Neil Gaiman changed that, and so now it's just any 3.
Icarus had the keys, and everyone else was getting real fucking sick of it and demanded he make them all a set.
Exactly. Now, we've been talking creations and creators. Let's flip that coin. Also stemming from a previous incarnation of the universe, Null, eldritch god of darkness and creator of the symbiotes.
It's
His dominion is
He's a dick.
He's a dick. His dominion is the void itself. He was awakened by the Celestials, over there creating stuff. Obviously pissed because he got woken up from his nap. He created the first symbiote, the sword All Black, and then used it to decapitate a Celestial.
God damn.
He only has one move, and that move is mass murder.
That's correct. The Celestials then banished him back to his fucking void. All right, you can go back to where you came from now. His awakening in the modern age was sparked by Carnage when Carnage merged with a piece of a symbiote dragon.
Symbiote!
God, I love that the Venom lore has 2 verbiages for what the hell Carnage and Venom are. Elsewhere, in the concepts of death, we have Lady Death and Oblivion. Oblivion...
Lady Death.
Oh, we'll get into Lady Death. Well, Thanos won't, but we will. Oblivion predates the multiverse, and its titles include The Nothing Which Watched the Birth of Everything, because it needs a boost to its own ego.
Kind of a mouthful, buddy.
It inhabited the void along with Null, and the 2, I don't know what you do in the vacuumness and nothing, play patty cake or something, I don't fucking know. Lady Death, on the other hand, was born along each universe, and is the love interest of an Eternal with Deviant Syndrome. Forever Purple, Thanos, the Mad Titan.
Reason number 5,378 why Thanos is an asshole.
Mostly because he's purple.
Because he's purple.
Fun side tangent. Deadpool also loves Lady Death and was one time cursed with the inability to die. Coming back to creators, sitting just below the one above all is the Living Tribunal, a multiversal entity who is tasked with keeping the balance of the mystic forces. Its 3 faces need to agree for it to rule on a judgment. This is the be-all, end-all inspiration for Alien X from Ben 10.
All the power, but you have to get there through bureaucracy.
And talking about it.
Ah, yes, we control so much power, but we must come to a decision.
Hold on. Before we guarantee anything, we must hold council.
But the Earth is about to be destroyed. I know, but we must
That's
come
why
to a
I'm in
decision.
council.
Exactly.
When it comes to matters on a universe-by-universe basis, though, the Living Tribunal couldn't fucking care.
No.
God damn.
So, they spawned Master Order and Lord Chaos to rule and judge. However, Master Order and Lord Chaos, 2 sides of the same coin. So, they needed an entity that is both and neither. And so, these 2 gay space dads created the In-Betweener.
Two gay dads made a bisexual. I understand.
That's correct.
Yep.
In-Betweener
Oh,
exists
oh.
and doesn't exist, is present everywhere and nowhere.
Schrodinger's child
Basically, his job is the inverse of Galactus.
to vomit planets.
While the In-Betweener was attempting to correct a mystical imbalance caused by, the cosmic California raisin himself,
You're breaking too many things.
it abducted Adam Warlock,
Oh no, not that guy.
a being created by the Enclave to be perfect in every way. Originally, that wasn't Adam's name. Adam, for like a couple of years in publication history, just went by him. God, I'm so glad he has a name now.
They went biblical on Adam when they started out with him, right? So they were giving him that whole the first man allegory. He didn't have a name until God named him Adam, right? So I mean, he was just him.
Is true.
Is what they're going for. So I mean, Marvel playing with Bibles now.
Anyway,
They've been doing that since the One Above All got involved. Let's be real.
true. When the In-Betweener popped Adam into its dimension, the sheer mass difference between existence and non-existent drove Adam absolutely fucking nuts and split him in twain. One remaining as he was, the other being the Magus.
Is that a wizard of some sort?
Kinda.
Adam's evil bits all coalesced into a separate entity.
With a kick-ass
Don't
fro.
talk to me about Adam's bits,
Adam has the most perfect bits,
except for the ones that are evil and
Yeah.
running around.
but now they're over there, causing destruction. Causing so much destruction, Kang the Conqueror considers Magus to be the most monstrous entity in all of the cosmos.
Kang? Kang looks at this guy and goes, "That's too far."
You're too much.
Oh dear.
Have you not seen his fro? It is too much.
This is where Kang draws the line, apparently.
Kang was like, not here.
One last creator before we get into the real obscure stuff. We have Stranger, an entity that just is. His origins are so
Yeah.
mixed between myth, legend, story, and fact that he and the Living Tribunal can't agree on what's truth and what's fiction. The reason he's in today's show is because he creates planets. Specifically, Ego the Living Planet, Id the Selfish Moon, and Alter Ego,
I don't think he needed to make those.
who was a gift to the collector. My dude created a sentient planet, gave it to a person, was like, yeah, that's a gift to you now.
It has an
You
ego
like
problem.
weird shit.
It's got an attitude issue.
I will give you some sentient beings that are so annoying.
That the MCU has to change them.
Not necessarily. I mean, Ego's always been able to do that shit. It's just that he prefers to be a large ass planet also.
Stranger, not the Stranger, just Stranger, is also notable for being the first entity to get their cheek slapped when Thanos first got the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Lastly, on our spectacular, amazing Web of collection, we have a bug monster.
Sorry?
We have a bug monster.
Why?
Give
Why
me-
do we have a bug monster?
Give me just a moment to reveal the bug monster to you.
Annihilus. Yes. Yeah. Him. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Bug monster.
Marvel's real fucking
Ah.
problem. Yeah. Yeah.
Man's
yeah.
a whole problem. Man's so
He's
much
a
of a
real
problem.
problem.
He had
Yeah.
an entire event to himself known as Annihilation,
Annihilus.
where he and his bug army invade all of the Marvel universe.
Period.
It ends up with the death of the Nova Corps that leaves Richard Rider as the only one. It also, so when Drax was first invented, he was like big and stupid.
Mhm.
And then the movie came out with Drax in it. And so Marvel Comics had to find a neat way to split the difference. And by that I mean make it look like Dave Bautista. Well, Annihilation caused the new one to climb out of the spine of the old one. And boom, that's how Drax looks now.
Oh, Drax is Lobo. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
No. One day, we'll go into more detail on what the fucking Annihilation event is.
Oh boy.
Because it was going to be too much to cram into this episode.
Just keep in mind, at its conclusion, it forced Nova to team up with Thanos.
Nova, and then Quasar with his cosmic bands decides to get
Mhm.
involved, and then loses epically because Annihilation grabs him, snaps his neck, then strips the cosmic bands from his arms and attaches them to himself.
Yeah, man. It was
I
a bad
see your
time.
jewelry. I want it.
Banjo maker dance.
Anyway, Annihilation hails from the negative zone, which is a pocket dimension with unknown spatial origins. It was discovered in our earthly timeline by Mr. Cooked by Fishman, Richards.
Stop.
So, having versed Annihilus one or two times beforehand, now his wife being pregnant, Mr. Fantastic needed Annihilus's shiny rod. This rod has a name. It's the Cosmic Control Rod.
Okay, thank you for finishing
I
that
was going to say
sentence.
that's probably not the first time Reed has made a call about how to get what he wanted, and he hasn't talked to his fucking wife about it.
They need it because Sue is pregnant. This child is producing so much energy that the actual birth will not be survivable for both.
Damn.
And so Reed needs the Cosmic Control Rod to help siphon off enough energy from Sue's uterus so Franklin can be born. So because of this rod and his father's, Sue gives birth to Franklin Richards.
You need to stop.
Awful.
I shan't be doing that. The most powerful mutant and the final herald of Galactus, who will stand side by side at the end of our universe. And now that he's a part of it, now that he's a universal entity, this is the save in which the next universe will pick up from. And so he will continue to always exist.
Damn. Infinite.
Galen essentially fucked himself into continuously existing when all he wanted was the sweet release of death.
Well then.
Dialing back the clock on Galactus' timeline for a hot second. That's his last herald. Let's talk about his first herald. Norin Rad. Initially born on Zenla, with the rest of his extremely advanced race. On a random chance, Galactus' ship, the Ta-2, because somebody misses home, destroyed Zenla's long-forgotten-about defenses. The Council of Zenla sent Norinrad into space to investigate and maybe go, hey, how about you stop doing that?
Look, they built a fence.
In exchange for his planet's safety, and especially the safety of his beloved, Shalabal, Norinrad became our favorite baked potato, the Silver Surfer, whose mission is to find Galactus planets to eat. And should he start to fail, Galactus will go back to Zenla and just om-nom-nom. The Silver Surfer ended up in a predicament where he was back in time when Null first escaped from the beyond, from the void, and essentially created he is his own grandfather moment.
Oh, for real?
By accidentally going back in time, he fought Null at the height of his power and was encapsulated in darkness and infected with the void itself. Silver Surfer was saved by Ego, the living planet, and was given the ability to create. With so much of a shining light, he became a form of creation. And so the absence of nothing started to create planets. And one of the planets he goes on to create is his very own Zenla,
Well then.
to which he would spend his entire life saving. This is the quick and dirty rundown of the Silver Surfer and who he is. Shino, I think you've got 2 cents to add on to Silver Surfer.
Not so much 2 cents, but I did have a friend way back in the day who was in love with Silver Surfer. That was like his favorite story. So he gave me like a quick educational on the cosmos. Well, for Marvel at the time, because I think, things have changed in the last, he's been gone for about more than 20 years now. So, well, no, I want to say more than 20, but getting close to that right now. So it's been a time, but he'd have loved to hear you talk about all this, because it's like the Marvel space opera was his thing. He didn't really care for much of the street stuff, the mutant stuff, and all that stuff going on Earth, but he was into the space stuff, man, and he'd have loved to hear you talk about this stuff. So I just wanted to say, just give a big shout out to my buddy Danny, man, and that he's probably out in the cosmos himself, man. Rest in peace. Keep doing it, keep doing your thing.
The Silver Surfer and all of the galactic entities that I've listed thus far are all based in some sort of creationist myth or, something along those lines. The creation of, the Norse mythology actually stems off of the One Above All. And as humans got tangentially less related to the Living Tribunal and all of that, we ourselves created the figments that are. So Odin was created because he was born, but the Judeo-Christian god Yahweh, Vishnu, and Zeus were all created by belief via humans, as they're all branches of the main religion of the Marvel Universe that should be, anyway, the one above all.
There is a god. He's over there. Just go hang out with him.
Go play with him there.
So it's neat that way back in the day that the drafters of the Marvel Cosmic decided to tune in what would be their own belief systems. Lastly, I want to introduce you to a character called Death's Head.
Yeah.
This character was created by Styrodos. Apologies on the possible mispronunciation. This is a word I've only seen written and not heard. And they are an intergalactic bounty hunter. Shino mentioned earlier Lobo. Think that, less feelings, and a robot.
If you thought Lobo was less cool, this guy's even lesser cool.
Yeah.
Understood.
Dear.
This character would essentially land on alien planets. His whole shtick was landing on alien planets, forgetting who he is, insert property that Marvel owns, or at least owns the publishing rights to, would talk to him, chat him up, set him on the right path, and then he would fuck around and find out.
Did he? Did he find out?
This includes when Marvel had the publishing rights to the Transformers. And so he has literally shaken the hands of Captain America, Optimus Prime, and the Time Lord known as the Doctor.
Wow.
This character still remains in Marvel continuity and is still the same one up until very recently, where he is now Death's Head 2, because the original one was destroyed very, very violently, I might add.
Thank you.
I think we need a second one of these. I'm gonna be honest.
And then somebody decided to write the sequel. All of these characters existed before Secret Wars. Secret Wars takes all the characters, turns the action figure bucket upside down,
With the toy box.
and decides to just scramble them all up. Okay? Secret Wars, highly successful in its day. Not so successful is Secret Wars 2, where it is literally the answer to what if God was one of us? Where one of the race of the Beyonders, who just becomes called the Beyonder, bip-bops his way through every aspect of being human on Earth, including sex,
Oh, God.
with a whore.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Like a lady of the night prostitute.
Goddamn.
Well, I mean, at least she's getting fed,
Yeah, something good is coming of this. She's getting a paycheck.
right? It's a
Oh,
living.
she gets a paycheck because that dude doesn't know of a way to pay her. And so he just literally snaps his fingers, manifests money, and now she's
Oh.
rich beyond her wildest dreams.
Good for her.
Weird move, but sure.
Get that dough, I guess, but all right.
You know what? Get your money. Anyway, so the Beyonder has to talk to Spider-Man, because of course he does, because Spider-Man is Spider-Man. And the entire
loves
reason
Spider-Man.
the Beyonder stays on Earth and continues to fucks around is because Peter Parker says the most famous line that dude has memorized. Upon telling the Beyonder, with great power comes great responsibility, the Beyonder's like, oh, so I have responsibility, and then decides to become a superhero for a little while.
Oh.
He's trying. He's putting in the thought. He's trying.
He's like, let me try this new
trying.
profession.
But because his way of solving things is snapping at fingers and making things manifest,
This will not work.
it doesn't go very well, and Captain America gets really upset and tries to punch him in the face.
He
Captain
likes to do
America,
that sometimes.
Captain America, puncher of gods.
Captain America, throwing hands.
Throwing hands at Celestials. Anyway, the Beyonder would then pop him, the prostitute with the infinite money, back into non-existence at the end of Secret Wars 2.
Oh my God.
I made a promise to mention the Beyonder, and I have now done that.
I hope this fills you with the right amount of joy and chaos.
There was one person in our audience that listens to our show that when I mentioned that I was doing this episode, they were like, so are you going to talk the Beyonder in Secret Wars 2? I'm like, I can. Thus I did. This brings us to the end of my meander through the cosmic Marvelverse. If anyone would like to read Galactus's version of these tales, go out and buy or check the link in the description for History of the Marvel Universe by Mark Waid. And it is Franklin Richards and Galactus telling the story of the entire Marvel Universe all the way up into every future that ever could be, including the Avengers 1 million BC, bars,
Nice.
but from Thanos' perspective. And a piece of this includes Thanos talking about Howard the Duck. And Franklin goes, why on ever did you remember the fact that Howard the Duck exists?
Could you forget?
Galactus looks at him, looks at Franklin in the vast emptiness of the universe that was, and goes, I know things. And then just continues on telling the history.
I'm glad they're friends, I guess. Everyone deserves a bro, even if they eat planets sometimes.
That brings us to the end of my tale. How was that for a crash course?
Not bad, man.
Quite a lot.
Again, my buddy would have enjoyed all of this. This is his wheelhouse. Especially everything that's happening now that's new and like all the movies and everything, it would blow his mind. So this was great stuff, man. Thank you.
Space shit is wild. Just wild.
It is wild, but if you sort it from top down and then forget about a couple characters, all works out really well.
Well, I mean, of course, there's so much in between. Get it? But there's so much in between it all, so you can't mention all of it.
No, there were a couple characters that had to get removed from this list, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's in part because when you're making an entire cosmology, sometimes you make a character and you go, that guy kind of sucks. So sometimes you just want to ignore those guys.
We went through the more important ones anyways. The other ones are more or less the figures in between that do stuff, but like you've covered the main ones.
Yeah,
anyway,
the thing I did not mention was the creation of like how magic gets involved and where that stems from. But I just feel that that's a tale for another time.
I guess so. If you want to touch up on the underworld stuff, I mean, there's all that. There's Mephisto. There's Hell. Hela. There's a bunch of that stuff. So
which is all vaguely related to how like the universe was created, and it all stems from that. But
another time.
You can tell the story without including that, so you did.
When we cover a Marvel's supernatural theater, perhaps another time.
I'm sure we'll make Red do all the work on that one too, because he fucking loves magic shit.
Beastie,
I know.
take us away.
Actually, Table, if you could take us away.
I'm stealing it for the day. If you'd like to hear more of Marvel, space, trying to explain the very complicated things that creators have set up and then left out there for readers to kind of puzzle through, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can tune in every Wednesday, and you can catch us streaming live on Mondays and Thursdays over at twitch.tv/Nerd Crusade. Mondays for game nights, Thursdays for news. So if you want to catch up on what's going on in the Nerdiverse, we've got that. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more regular updates, or join our Crusader chat on Discord by checking our link tree in the description. You can download any previous episodes or listen on your mobile device through anchor.fm or search Nerd Crusade on your favorite podcast app. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, fellow Crusaders.
If I get the power cosmic, do I become the Ebony Surfer? That's to be continued.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, go ahead and button mash a thumbs up. If you want to swing by when we have a new video, web up the sub button. Oh, and while you're at it, hit the bell to be notified by...